Okay, I'd like to introduce a man that needs no introduction. Mayor Don Green has been a big supporter of this library and has really done a lot for our library, and we're just really glad he's here today. So I'm Mayor Green, I'd like to introduce you.
What a privilege it is for me to be here today to celebrate the 100th anniversary of our public library, your public library. I was going back through some of the archives to look at what occurred 100 and some years ago when this library was built. And we talk about cornerstones. To me, the best cornerstone you can have for your community is a public library. And I laud those individuals, our forefathers, who came forth and had the foresight to build this library in the city of Kankakee. 100 years later, you and I are sitting here today getting ready to open the cornerstone to see what mementos and items of interest were left for us. I hope 100 years from now, we have another library, Cindy would really appreciate that, where we can come back to celebrate. But I think sometimes we stop and forget people who have been the leaders of our community and have put the input into this building, in this edifice, and this public facility for 100 years. Without leaders like our present library board, and without the fine leadership of a professional librarian, Cindy Fuerst, we wouldn't have what we have today. All I can say is, on behalf of myself, the City Council, and the citizens of Kankakee, we're very proud to have this facility in our community. We're very proud that it's 100 years old today, and we hope that sometime in this next century, and really the not too distant future, that we will have the ability to build a new library in Kankakee. And I think the time is
Thank you, Mayor Green. Our library was started actually in the mid-1850s by a group of women and the Ladies Library Association. And inside the library there are some displays, and you'll see some correspondence that actually is addressed to the Ladies Library Association. And then about 40 years later, Mr. Cutler got involved, and they decided to form a city library. But one of the conditions for starting the city library was that there would always be women on the board. And this is really important because when you think about 100 years ago, how this library was formed, women did not have the right to vote. Women had no really status in the community except through marriage and through their husbands. So this is important. So one of our bylaws in our of the original library was that there'd always be at least 3 women on the board. And it may be in tradition, but our current board president is a woman, and it's Barb Herzog, and she's going to say a few words and introduce our board members.
Our current board members with us today, Dr. Steve Epstein, Mrs. Ann Miller, Mrs. Sheila Donahue Kramer, Chief Bill Doster, Mrs. Annette Flanagan, Mrs. Terry Holt, Mrs. Jane Potter. This is also a good time to mention descendants of the original board members. First one is Mrs. Hewling, and her descendant is Kenneth James Hewling. And I believe the United States was declaring war on Spain over Cuba. Lewis Carroll, author of Alice in Wonderland, died. Ernest Hemingway was born. Paul Robeson was born. The Curies discovered radium. The first magnetic recording of sound was made. Automobile was a brand new word. Scott Joplin's rag music was popular. And the Gibson Girls set the fashion. As we think of the last 100 years, I'll mention a few of the services that we've added at the library. And the first one that comes to mind is electric lights. We've also added a children's department, young adult materials, business resources and services, minority interests and studies, service to physically challenged patrons, videotapes, audiobooks, audio recordings, the genealogy collection, computers, fax, internet, CD-ROMs, microforms, and photocopying are all new in the last 100 years. As you tour the building today, notice our beautiful redecorating. Due to a state grant of $35,000, we were able to make plaster repairs and repaint the trim to bring out the beautiful architectural details. Almost as long-lived as the vision and planning of the original board was the original roof on this building, which we finally had to replace just a few years ago. We currently have 10,000 square feet of space. According to national standards for modern library size, 45,000 square feet of usable floor space would be recommended for a community our size. The library board is exploring options to obtain more space. The library board 100 years ago had amazing foresight and did a magnificent job on this building. We hope that our new space, either on this location or another, will hold up as well as this building has held up. What will the next 100 years bring? Will books all be dead? No. Will all libraries be coffee shops? No. But we do know that there will be more technology and that we'll need flexible space, more space. And we know that all learners must be lifetime learners in the 21st century, and that libraries will be the center for much of that learning. Library buildings may change every century or so, but the love of reading endures forever. Thank you all for coming today.